We'll call the Plan Commission meeting to order, and we acknowledge that we have a quorum, and the minutes were posted 24 hours in advance. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The mayor is out of town today, so I was asked to chair the meeting. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the regular Plan Commission meeting of February 6th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any corrections? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now for development approvals, or proposals rather. We have a certified survey map number 24-002, a two-lot certified survey map located at the northwest corner of Hawthorn Drive and Westminster Court. The applicant is Blue Harmony Homes LLC.
Thank you. This certified survey map is for a division of the property. Back in November of 2020, the Plan Commission approved a CSM combining this. This property has since changed hands, and the new owner would like to bring back the two lots that were originally there prior to that CSM that was approved. Both lots are zoned RS3, single-family residential. Adequate right-of-way is provided for adjacent to both of the lots. Sanitary sewer and water laterals also exist for both of these lots. The only thing that we have for a condition would be some minor technical corrections, and then also a stormwater management plan will need to be submitted and approved prior to issuing building permits. So staff would recommend approval of the CSM with the two listed conditions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a certified survey map and site plan. This is CSM 24-003, a two-lot certified survey map located at the southwest corner of East Decorah Road and Sand Drive. The applicant is Iron Horse Commons. The agent is American Architectural Group. Jim?
Thank you. So this certified survey map, the purpose of this is to create two lots for the redevelopment of this parcel. Lot 1 is approximately 1.9 acres and is proposed to have a multi-family development proposed for that, which is later scheduled on this agenda. Lot 2 is also approximately 4.8 acres. Again, this redevelopment is for a townhouse style multi-family development. Both lots are zoned MXD and meet the requirements of that zoning district. No additional right-of-way is needed for Decorah Road. The certified survey map is dedicating the western half or 40-foot right-of-way for Sand Drive. Sanitary sewer and water will be eventually extended in Sand Drive as a part of the city contract for the TID district that is out in that area. Staff would recommend approval of the CSM with the two conditions.
Okay, so right now we're just looking at the certified survey map for this. I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now we have the site plan 24-002 for 8 multifamily buildings consisting of 51 units located south of East Decorah Road and on the west side of Sand Drive by Iron Horse Commons.
Do we have anybody representing Iron Horse Commons here tonight?
Jim? Do you have some questions?
Yeah, just a.
Okay. Can we do you want to do yours?
Want the brief first?
I would think so, but
Can we have the briefing first?
I'm sorry?
Can we have Jim's briefing
Oh,
first?
I'm sorry. It was so silent for so long. I thought we were done with that part. Okay, go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
Nope,
I'm sorry.
Not a problem. So this development is for the lot number 2, which is the southern lot of that CSM that we just made a recommendation on. It's located about 300 feet south of Decorah Road, and this would benefit the TIF District number 16 for the development. The project is zoned MXD, which fits the requirements for the project. The access to the site will be from Sand Drive with 2 access points. Each building will have 4 parking stalls associated with each unit, along with an additional 25 parking stalls throughout the site, and also 2 barrier-free parking stalls for visitors. A traffic impact analysis has been submitted for the development and is currently under review by our engineering department. The site itself will be served with sewer and water from Sand Drive. And again, as previously noted, that those utilities will be constructed by the city, and the developer will extend from those utilities that are being installed. A stormwater management plan is also required for the development. The site has been generally designed to drain the site internally to catch basins, and then the storm sewer system will relay that stormwater to the northwest corner where a stormwater pond is. Site lighting is provided throughout the development with 20-foot tall light poles, which conform to our zoning requirements, and adequate landscaping is also being provided throughout the development. The architectural building elevations, the materials for this development will consist of hardy plank or LP smart siding, batten board siding, along with staggered shake siding and brick. The colors are fairly neutral, as shown as earth tone colors, and a few accent colors with a darker burnt colored red. And fiberglass shingles will be used on for the roofing material. Staff finds those architecturals to be acceptable and conform to our standards. Staff would recommend approval of the site plan with the listed conditions.
Thank you, Jim. We'll begin with comments or questions, and go ahead, Alderman Model.
Sure. Yeah. And I don't myself necessarily have concerns about this because we talked to a developer a while back that had done research that bore out a need for many more units available in the city of West Bend. But I just want you to reassure anybody that might look back at this meeting and just let them know that you've done the research and you know that there is a need for more housing. It's just something that we're starting to get comments about in the public with all of the apartments that are being finished up and made available, that we're going to be able to fill these, not be looking at empty space.
For sure. Yeah, we did a market study, and also I'm contemplating selling some of these units as condominiums. That would be market-priced condos around the perimeter, and then there's a 10-family and 2 6-families on the interior, which would be kept for longer-term rental. So.
Okay, great, thank you.
Max, have you had time to look at the TIA?
I started the review of the TIA. I was actually make a comment about that. So I need to call the consultant who provided the TIA and have some discussions with them. I was going to say that whoever makes a motion, if we can add a condition to get a requirement to implement any improvements required by the TIA, on top of the 4 conditions that are listed in the memo right now, or 5.
Yeah, 5.
Can I make a motion with Max's additional requirement without trying to say it?
Certainly, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll take a second to get it on the floor.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Max. Did you have anything else?
No. As far as the TIA, the parts that I've reviewed look okay right now. I do just have a couple clarifying questions for the consultant.
I had, since I live down the street, I know this street and I know that intersection, and anyone who drives through there at certain times of the day knows that intersection. I was surprised that the TIA's recommendations didn't include anything much with the intersection. When you talk to them, also, I have concerns about traffic using Eastern Avenue to bypass the corner. I have concerns about traffic turning south on Sand to avoid that corner.
Yes, that was part. They didn't look at the intersection of Eastern, which was looked at through the TIA that was done a couple of years ago, 2022, I think, for the development to the south. And they had also looked at the intersection of Sand and River.
Correct.
And so those are part of the questions I would like to discuss with them. See if they had looked at those warrants for stop signs at Eastern and any other changes needed at River. And of course, like right now, what I saw in the TIA is that there's no change recommended to any of the intersections. But I was surprised too to see it at the intersection of Decorah and Sand, and I want to just go over that with them.
Well, does it become appropriate for us to postpone this then until we have answers on that TIA? And I know, Jim, that's not what you want to hear, but
Mr.
We
Chairman,
may be able to get him on the
I
phone.
was going to say, I think John Beaver.
I think we can get him on the phone tonight if we have a question for him. The TIA guy?
John.
Yes. I don't think I'm going to do the review of the TIA right now with John. I need to have a conversation with him, and we may have to flip through pages of the report.
Sure.
We may need to discuss different things from the Institute of Transportation Engineers manual. So it's not going to be like a 5-minute discussion that I can have with John right now.
Do you think
No.
something that's going to stop the development of the?
I don't think it's something that's going to stop the development. I don't know. John did, I think it was Daniel that signed the report, but anyway, he did his analysis and he has the numbers. I have not found anything wrong in it, but as I discussed with him, I want to know if the questions I have may or may not require some additional improvement at any of those intersections.
Yeah, so I can appreciate the concern. Well, I would just ask to consider having it approved subject to that analysis coming through okay.
and I don't have a problem with that, but the city has the prerogative to make directions.
You do. I guess I would just jump in and say, if you're thinking about delaying it a month, let's see if John can answer the questions that the commission and Max
We
has.
don't necessarily, no, I don't think that's appropriate. And to be honest with you, if they're going to send us a report like this the day before the Plan Commission meeting, we shouldn't be having to do this tonight over the phone.
They didn't send it the day before.
Well, that's right. But the Plan Commission didn't get it until the day before.
That's accurate.
When did Max get it?
Some time ago.
I got it like a week and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't get it until yesterday. As long as we still have the prerogatives to
Make adjustments.
make adjustments, although are we prohibited from it if it's not in their recommendation?
No, so what we've done in the past is, what I was suggesting earlier, is add a condition to the approval that if, in the end, based on the TIA, we find that we need to add some improvements, add stop signs or things like that, that it would be a condition of this approval that the developer installs those improvements. That's what we've done in the past.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's what I
the way
was
understood it.
recommending.
Yeah.
That's what I was recommending, a conditional approval, that if, after my discussion with John or Dan, whichever one I talk to, if we find that we need to have additional improvements to those intersections, then we would add that as a condition of the approval of this site plan.
Okay. Anybody else have anything?
So Jed, thinking back to some of the discussions we had and questions regarding the F Street Development Initiative, looking at the structure that fronts Sand Drive, I think we've got, what, Jim, about an 11-foot setback from the curb?
Kevin would know that, yeah.
So two issues related to that. One was, I think the city code is a little more than that, and we're concerned about downspout runoff over the sidewalk in the wintertime, creating ice issues. Are all the downspouts going to drain into the catch basin and out to the retention pond? Okay.
Yes.
And what about the air conditioner compressors? F Street, those were sitting on the street-facing side, and there were concerns there. What's the positioning specific to this structure? And I would also, potentially look to the middle of the property, but I don't know, once it's, off the public access, does city code kind of say you can do whatever you want within the lot itself?
Well, I know on the back, we got back entrance garages, front entry off the street, so to have the compressors, probably the most logical is going to be in the front. We can put a few on the sides, but not all of them.
Okay. And I think the concern here is maybe a little muted compared to F Street in that we don't have residences right across the street, so maybe that's not as much of a concern.
What was your concern with the units facing Sand Drive directly?
Well, just, again, it was more the precedent from F Street
Yes.
development that we had residences on the other side on the north side of the street with compressors literally outside their front windows. With this one not having private residences across the street on Sand Drive, that's not as much of an issue for me, but I don't know from a city code perspective if that's something we need to be concerned about. The other piece that does concern me, and I get the nature of maximizing the space, is the same concern I had with F Street, that there's a lot of stuff packed in here. And that's the comment that I've heard a couple times from people is, what is becoming of West Bend? Are we becoming a bedroom community, apartment community? And unfortunately, given the nature of housing right now, this is what everybody's doing because they can't afford to build a single family. But I just, the lack of green space concerns me, and I guess, maybe people aren't moving in there for green space right now at this stage of life. I need a place to put my head down type of thing. But it seems very dense to me.
Well, the units per acre are, we could put in a lot more units if I put in one big building, but there's enough of those in town, and there's more desire for this type of townhouse unit for families. So, with that, I feel that this fits in here quite nice with the Eisenbahn Trail, but I appreciate the comments, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Jim, there has been some concerns about that it's more multifamily housing, and this is zoned for that, and we know that single family couldn't go here on these two parcels. Do you have anything that you want to add about that situation, about how zoning fits into this?
So when we started this project in general, we amended our comprehensive plan. Originally, this was slated for some kind of a commercial use. And we reevaluated everything in this area and the trend and thought that the planning staff thought that the mixed use was a more appropriate use for helping for the redevelopment of the area. So under the mixed use, it gave us a wide range of uses, ranging from some commercial uses to residential use, or to living residential multifamily type uses. So the MXD was a mechanism to help with the redevelopment for the area. and that. So, we felt that, this area and the previous areas for like downtown, it was following our trends that we've done for facilitating the redevelopment of these areas that typically may have a harder time redeveloping in other forms of zoning, or other uses, I should say.
Thanks. I'm sorry for springing that on you, but that helps a lot. And I'm sorry for asking, I just lost my screen. How does this development coincide with the timing of the reconstruction of Sand Drive? Do we know?
So the reconstruction of Sand Drive is going to happen this spring/summer. And we have coordinated our plans with the developer's plan. PSC was in contact with our designer to coordinate location of driveways, laterals, and things like that. I don't know their construction schedule, but we're in touch with them, and if we need to coordinate between our contractor and their contractor, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you. If there is nothing else, then we have a motion with that added condition about the traffic impact analysis. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
We have one no. Next, we have site plan 24003. This is the site plan for the 78-unit apartment building located at the southwest corner of East Decorah and Sand. The applicant is Decorah Flats. The agent is American Architectural Group. Jim?
All right, thank you. So this is the second development. This is actually the development that would be for lot number 1. Again, this will benefit the TIF District number 16 as a part of the redevelopment. This property is also zoned MXD. The density that's being proposed for this exceeds the density that's typically required by code, but under the provisions of the MXD, the Plan Commission does have the ability to modify the density for the development within this zoning district, as long as it is consistent with good site planning and design. Staff took it and reviewed the request for the density change and felt that it was appropriate. This is actually consistent with some of the other developments that we have done where we've actually changed the density requirements for the proposals. The proposal itself will have 2 driveway connections, one to Decorah Road and the other one to Sand Drive. The Decorah Road entrance will actually be used for the underground in-building parking, and the entrance on Sand Drive will be used for the surface parking lot they have there. 48 standard and 2 barrier-free parking stalls are provided in the surface lot, and 54 standard and 5 barrier-free are also provided inside the building, providing a total of 109 parking stalls for the entire development. This parking requirement was based on the need for the development that's being proposed. Traffic impact analysis has been submitted to the engineering department. In fact, it's the same one that incorporated the site to the south for generating the requirements for that impact analysis. Sewer and water mains will be constructed in Sand Drive as part of our construction project, and the lateral serving this development will be from those utilities being installed. Stormwater management is also required for the development. The site grades have been generally designed to drain to the north and east, and then also the south side of the development, along with the roof water, will be draining to the south to the stormwater pond that's being provided. LED lighting is being provided throughout the site within the parking lot, and adequate landscaping is being provided throughout the site. The building architecture itself will consist of brick, a black opal colored brick, along with hardy plank siding. Also long grain, wood grain accenting siding is also going to be used, along with hardy plank panels. And the colors for those hardy plank panels will be a midnight gray and then also a custom bright yellow for accenting throughout the development on the building. And then metal porches will also be added on the building. Staff finds the architectural to be acceptable and consistent with our requirements that we have. And again, staff would recommend approval of the site plan with the actual 6 listed conditions for that.
Thanks, Jim. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, Brendan Sullivan is up
Oh,
there, the agent for the.
Hi, thank you for being here.
Max, you've looked at the traffic analysis?
So the traffic impact analysis that I received covers both developments. So I would add the same condition, whoever makes the motion, that we had on the previous site that we discussed. But yeah, it's the same study that combines the impact of both these developments.
Jim, your memo says that the 78 units exceeds the density that's permitted by right within the zoning district. What's the incremental difference?
So, you're asking what was it permitted by code?
Yes.
So under code, it was, I did the calculations, it was 58 units. And now they're asking for the additional 30 to help offset the cost for the redevelopment of the property. It's consistent with what we've done with other developments where we've altered the density. So that's why staff felt that it was still appropriate for the area, for what they're redeveloping.
Can you give an example of other developments?
HKS is the.
HKS
Okay,
is,
I had a feeling, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Was it by that percentage?
I don't recall. I think that theirs might have been even slightly higher.
But that one's even more, yeah.
Because that's,
It's 20 units too. You said 30, you said 58.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, 20. It's
20.
20 units.
The district,
the only other question I had is,
33 there, yeah.
the landscape plan doesn't have a plethora of greenery. And there's really nothing, and I can't recall other examples along the Eisenbahn, but it doesn't appear to be anything separating it from the Eisenbahn as far as greenery goes.
Yeah, there's physical grade change with that. They might be able to put some plantings in it. It's a sloped side too.
Okay, I understand. All right, thank you.
I actually don't mind making the motion, but I'm most interested because you live right there, Jed. If you have, what are your concerns? Are you okay with this?
Well,
I know that's putting you on the spot a
my
little bit,
opinion is tempered by the fact that, if wishes were horses, rides would be free, that whole saying. That
Right.
Do I wish it was duplexes or single family? Sure, but
Sure.
the constraints of the parcels
Yeah,
make it very difficult. I'm not, even, the traffic situation for all of this, I'm not overly concerned because it is not a theater, it's not a factory where everybody is coming and going at the same time. That said, these are all incremental bumps upward in the number of vehicles. And so I do have that concern, which engineering is going to address.
Yeah, I can
issue.
tell you that in the study that I just received, they did go back to the previous study and they included those traffic counts to this. So yeah, the increment is taken into account here in this study. That's the first thing I looked at, and they did account for that.
Yeah, the other piece, traffic-wise, that granted, it's a limited window, but if you're heading in the morning towards the high school, you got the traffic there. So I can imagine if I'm trying to get out of here to go to work, I've either, kind of like going to Chicago, 15 minutes either way makes it an extra hour drive. Or do I hang a right on Sand Drive and, go around the block and come out that way?
And they'll go right past my house. I understand that,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve with the list of conditions, including Max's traffic analysis.
I'll second, and I will add to what you just said about making a right on Sand Drive. They do have a percentage of traffic going to that direction in their distribution. That's one of the things I want to talk to TADI about is it a little low or should we increase it a little bit? Because of that same concern you have with people knowing there's just high school traffic there at that time during the peak hour. So
That was the concern I had. I thought they were underestimating the
the
number.
15%,
Yeah.
And I don't know that, say those two peak windows, going to school and coming home necessitate putting signals there, but if that is an option, round numbers, what's the cost to the city to put in a controlled intersection?
Installing traffic signals is very expensive. I don't have a number for you, but I can
Okay.
tell you it's very expensive. The other thing I will say is that the number of additional trips during the peak hour is not that high for this project. So, like I said, I'm not done with the review, and I want to look through the warrants that they looked at. Obviously, in order to determine if we need a traffic signals, we gotta follow a certain set of criteria, and their analysis is saying we don't meet the criteria. That's another thing I want to take a second look at. But if we don't meet the criteria, that means that with the stop signs, we have a level of service that is acceptable, even with the additional traffic. So, to answer your question, which was precisely about what does it cost the city to do this, in the past, when a development triggered the requirement for a traffic signal, then the development had to pay for it. So in the past, when we had a traffic impact analysis that required traffic signal, again, that's what happened at Meyer, that's what happened at Quick Trip. So the developer would pay for that.
And again, for two peak loads during the day, 9 months out of the year, in an era of declining enrollment, it's probably overkill. But I
Yes.
wanted to ask it all the same. Thank
Sure.
you.
Jay, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add that the project plan for TID 16 does include the possibility of having to pay for traffic signals. So if the city were to fund them, we would use the increment generated from these two projects to help us pay for the traffic signals. That was pre-planned if they were to have to go in at some point.
And what is the payback timeframe? And I realize that's somewhat of a variable calculation, but what is what was the projected payback on the TID? 20 years?
Yeah, we always project out for the life of the TID, not knowing when the developments are going to come to us. We were confident that the first development at the end of Sand Drive was going to be in place very soon. This one, to be honest, is faster and more rich than what we had in our project plan. So it'll help us accelerate the payback of the TID.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry if this is a stupid question. Is there at some point, do we have a public hearing based on these site plans for these developments? No?
No,
Okay.
this doesn't go to council. Any questions on this side? All right, we have a motion. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next, we have a certified
Thank you
survey
very
map
much.
24-004, a two-lot certified survey map located at the southeast corner of South Main Street and West Progress Drive. The applicant is Brickner Progress Properties. The agent is Parish Survey and Engineering.
Thank you. This certified survey map is to create two lots. Lot 1 is approximately 1.4 acres, and Lot 2 is approximately 2.2 acres. The property originally had some buildings on lot number 1. Those buildings have since been demolished and removed for the anticipation of the redevelopment of this corner of the property. The property is zoned M3 Business Park District. The CSM also dedicates 50-foot half right-of-way for South Main Street, which is consistent with the official map. And adequate right-of-way also already exists for Progress Drive. Lot 1 will have access to either Main Street or Progress Drive, and Lot 2 to Progress Drive alone. Sanitary sewer and water exists in both Main Street and in Progress Drive, and will serve the 2 lots from those locations. Staff would recommend approval with the 2 conditions.
All right, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve with the conditions.
And we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Now we have a site plan, 24-004. That's a site plan for 4 industrial buildings containing 16 units located on the south side of West Progress Drive by Brickner Progress Properties.
Thank you. So this site plan is for lot number 2, which is the easternmost lot, for 4 7,200 square foot multi-tenant industrial buildings. Again, the property is zoned M3 for the planned business park district, and the proposal is consistent with the requirements of that district. The screen refuse, or I should say the refuse containers for this development will be within the buildings, and so a screened refuse area isn't provided. Access to the site will be from Progress Drive. 46 standard and 4 barrier-free parking stalls are being provided for the development, and staff finds the parking to be acceptable for this use. Sewer and water laterals, again, will be extended from Progress Drive to serve this development, and a stormwater management plan will be required for the development also. Grades have been generally designed to drain to the center of the development and then collected in storm sewer and then directed to the stormwater pond on the north end of the site. The grading plan does also identify some wetland fills during the process of their due diligence. Wetland delineation had to be done on the site, and the delineator found that there were some wetland areas on the site, and the approval for the wetland delineation by the DNR is required, and then also a permit from the DNR to fill the wetland areas would be required. If the wetland, or if the delineation does come back the way it's shown on the site plan, a conditional use permit will also have to be approved by the Plan Commission for the filling of that wetland. The site lighting is going to be building mount lighting provided throughout the site. Landscaping is being provided throughout the site also. The building materials will consist of a 4-foot-high gray-colored cultured brick veneer, along with a blue-colored metal panel system for the sidewalls, and also a metal roof, a charcoal-colored metal roof will be used for the development. Staff would recommend approval of the site plan with the listed conditions.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve with the listed conditions.
I'll second it. And is there any discussion?
What? I don't know if I'm just missing it here, but what is this exactly going to be?
So these are multi-tenant buildings. It's similar to what they've done on Progress Drive, where the that Stockhausen's did. So these are like incubator type buildings again, where you have a start of a business and with the hopes of the business to grow. And
could be
go somewhere else.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha,
all
okay.
it's light industrial uses. One of the uses for sure is going to be a plumbing contractor business.
Okay.
Within there.
That's great. Yep.
Anything else?
I heard barber shop was moving in, one of them.
Right. For example, yeah.
You had me there for a
I
minute.
lift chairs.
Yeah.
For really tall people, yeah.
All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And finally, I lost my way. Site Plan 24-001, a site plan for a 40,000 square foot building addition and parking lot addition located at 2151 North Main Street by Moraine Park Technical College, and the agent is Somerville.
So the site plan is for a building addition for the Advanced Manufacturing Center located at the northeast corner of the Technical College building. The property is zoned I-1 and meets the requirements of the zoning district for that. Parking is being provided throughout the site with 465 proposed standard stalls and 24 barrier-free parking stalls. Access to the site actually isn't changing. All the existing accesses will remain intact and no additional changes to that. Sanitary sewer and water already exists to the property and will be extended throughout the site from those existing utilities. Stormwater management amendment is needed for the development and will need to be submitted to engineering for approval. The site grades have essentially been designed to drain generally to the northwest and to the northeast towards the existing pond and also a new pond that they're going to be creating. Wall signage is also identified on the building, one on the north side of the building and one on the west side of the building for the new addition. Adequate landscaping is being provided throughout the site. And then the architectural building materials will consist of brick matching the existing building along with corrugated metal panels, composite aluminum panel walls, and then also some charcoal panels, charcoal colored panels throughout the development. So this is actually just a continuation of what's existing out there today. Staff would recommend approval of the site plan with the listed conditions.
Well, and lots of glass, looks like. This is, this is beautiful. Yeah, I'll certainly make a motion to approve after anybody else has comments, but.
Sure, we'll take your motion and I'll take a second.
Second.
The motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Other than congratulations to Moraine Park.
Yeah.
All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And there's no other business before the Plan Commission, so we're adjourned.